Good evening. You are now listening to the worldwide transmission of the GBC with the Honorable WMII.
Greetings, and welcome to our broadcast tonight. It is an extreme pleasure anytime I get before you to tell you the stories that you may have missed and the stories that you may have already heard. Before we begin, as always, I would like to give a great shout out to our partners at Preach the Word Worldwide Network. They've been doing fantastic, and they actually have a virtual awards gala. This is one of their first times that they're going to be doing due to the COVID-19 situation. So giving them a great shout out as well and much success. I most definitely will be tuning in to that. Also, we want to thank our partners here at Debo Studios. They've been doing a great job working with us. We appreciate them as well. Also, as always, if you want to support us, you can send us our Cash App is $, all capital letters, $THWMII. Again, that's all capital letters, $THWMII. If you want to comment to us or have any questions, you can send us to our email at thehonorableWM2@gmail.com. That is thehonorableWM2@gmail.com. Now, getting to our articles today, what I'm going to do today, my team just grabbed some articles for me that is of great interest in the some in the entertainment world. Some in the, just the regular daily run-of-the-mill world as well. So one thing I do know, during this COVID-19 situation, I frequent the grocery store quite often. And one shout out I want to give around the world is to the folks working in the grocery stores. They're a lot of times they work till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Some may be longer if they're stocking. And I just want to give them a shout out because they are seeing all different types of people come in and, they could be susceptible to the coronavirus. So the things that they do, and I know they got some protections now with the glass shields and they're wearing their masks as well. But I just want to give them a great shout out to the grocery workers. But this, and that can be stressful, I can imagine. This first story we have here is from the Washington Post. It says that grocery workers said morale is at an all-time low. They don't even treat us like humans anymore, was one of the comments from one of the grocery store workers. And I'm going to read a little bit of this article here as it's quite interesting. A lot of times we see them and we come and we go, but we don't give them their proper respect that they deserve. And this article is dedicated to them. It says, this spring, for the first time, Angel Manners found purpose and pride at the supermarket where she worked the past decade. Customers praised her as a hero for putting herself at risk during the pandemic. Bosses boosted her hourly pay by $2. Then suddenly her job was essential. They've been called essential workers during that time when the corona was super heavy, and it still is heavy, so they still should be called essential workers. And it says nearly 5 months in, and it is all gone. In the last month, we've lost our hazard pay, and people are quitting every day, said Miss Manners. She processes vendor deliveries at the Mayher store in northern Kentucky. She says those of us who are left are really stretched thin, working so much harder for just $11.50 an hour. Now, just imagine putting yourself at harm and you have a family at home and putting yourself at risk for that amount of pay. And if you look at the cost of inflation, the workers' salaries have never kept up with the cost of inflation. I can remember a lot of the old timers saying they brought bread for 10 cents. They brought gas for 80 cents and some lesser. But as the years pass, the billing has went up, but what people made has stopped. Inflation has really hurt a lot of folks. And Mrs. Manners here is working for $11.50. So That is very, very disheartening. Reading on a little bit more in our article, it says grocery workers across the country said morale is crushingly low as the pandemic wears on with no end in sight. Of course, we don't know when this coronavirus pandemic, people being in their homes, we don't know when this is going to be over. So why not still give the grocery store workers and all other type of essential workers the hazard pay that they deserve? I didn't even know it was cut off. Reading on, it says overwhelmed employers are quitting mid-shift. So if somebody's working from 4 to 8, by 6 o'clock, they're out of there. You know, I thank God for the grocery store I go to. They know me by heart every time I step in there. And, you know, I just appreciate the service and that they give us. It says, those who remain say they are overworked, taking on extra hours, enforcing mask requirements, and dealing with hostile customers. It says, most retailers have done away with hazard pay, even as workers remain vulnerable to infection or worse. Employees who took sick leave at the beginning of the pandemic say they cannot afford to take unpaid time off now, even if they feel unwell. So, I mean, this blows my mind that the hazard pay has been taken off. And here's another statistic in effect here. It says that at least 130 United States grocery workers have died, and more than 8,200, I'm going to say that again, 8,200 have tested positive for COVID-19 since late March, according to the Data Workers Group and media reports. Grocery stores are generally not required to inform shoppers about the coronavirus cases or report them to local health departments, which can make it difficult to get an accurate count. So, with that being said, anytime you go out, make sure you're properly protected. Make sure that you have your mask. Make sure I have this, solution that I use with, I can put in my nose and it stops any type of viral infection such as coronavirus and stuff of that nature. But just make sure you're properly protected when you go out here, because even if the grocery store workers have COVID-19, as this article states, they're not even reporting it at times because they're not required to. So, with the pay that they've been getting, this is very sad. They're risking their lives, and it is very ridiculous. And this another article says, it says the company, she said, raised her pay by 50 cents an hour and gave her 4 Publix gift cards totaling about $200 after taxes. So you be the judge if that is acceptable. I can say it totally is unacceptable. That's very, very sad. And I pray to God that with this next stimulus plan, I know the president has signed an executive order, and I pray that it really helps, which I think it may, because President Trump actually signed an executive order last Saturday cutting the payroll tax. So what that means is that a lot of you people who work a job, you're going to see an increase in your paycheck, because he's cutting the payroll tax. So hopefully that, and plus the unemployment workers, I know they were getting $600 a week, but now they're going to be cut down to $400 a week. But, in addition to what they get by the state. But, I just pray that everything works out, and hopefully the Congress can get their act together and make a decision on getting the Americans their direct pay as well. So during these times, all workers, they need it. And my heart goes out during this time in coronavirus. Now, there's been a lot of talk lately about Mr. Nick Cannon. He actually was stating a comment with Professor Griff on his Cannon's Class podcast that he hosts. And he was making comments that some people may find disparaging, some groups may find disparaging. But, and the backlash that I heard coming from what Mr. Cannon said seemed a little bit off balance. Because what he was saying had a lot of truth to it. But when you're dealing in certain atmospheres and certain spaces that he was in, the same ones he was talking about, they was the ones who pretty much handle his pay. So there's a big argument about free speech. You know, when I was a kid, you will always hear comments about free speech. But it seems as we get older that there are some restrictions on free speech. And it was in the world, but now you're seeing it online as well. So this next story I have here from the Christian Post, it's an editorial piece. And it says, defend free speech from the mob because your beliefs are next. Now, Mr. Cannon was pretty much crucified during a couple weeks ago about his comments. And a lot of people, some supported him and some did not support him. But let me tell you, it's Cannon's time today, but it could be your time tomorrow. Free speech must be protected. You know, I'm here. I'm on a national network. I'm on social media as well. And if what you say has to be condensed or has to be kind of hidden, you're not being your true self. You know, I thought that this was America, and in America we're supposed to have free speech. That's what the First Amendment. You know, that's being attacked. The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, that's being attacked. You know, voting rights, there's always an issue about that every few years. So if the Constitution is for these things, why in the world are we seeing attacks? Reading on this article here, it says again from the Christian Post, defend free speech from the mob because your beliefs are next. And, you know, you hear a lot about cancel culture. You know, a lot of people are getting canceled, celebrities and stuff, for saying certain comments that are, you know, what people deem offensive. And it says, though the cancel culture has unfortunately been with us for a number of years, George Floyd's tragic death, combined with the confusion and fear of a pandemic in the information age, has greatly accelerated its threat to a core American value. The freedom to speak your mind on government as being speech primary threat. It's the government's biggest threat. However, in as many things, the year 2020 has changed the calculation. It's much worse. Today, by far, the preeminent threat to free speech is the internet. You know, on the internet, you can read comments and people really speak their minds on comments. And I really don't mind if people have opposing views on the comments. To some extent, I don't mind people going back and forth and being a little bit, distasteful because it's them, it's their self. I would rather have somebody that I know what they are than somebody hiding and acting one way and they're not the same. Because, you know, and the internet, they'll tell you who they are on there. It says the drafters of the First Amendment know how close speech and belief are intertwined. In original drafts, freedom of religious beliefs actually was the First Amendment. Yes, it was. While the Second Amendment protected speech of all kinds. But as the drafters refined their thoughts, you know, it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So as we can see, it looks like things have changed. The history that we have had with our governments and the Constitution has been a long-running battle. As we see, things are not as the Constitution has prescribed for us, but we must all the time defend it because we're in America here, folks, and America supposedly goes by the Constitution, so we should always hold that Constitution to our lawmakers and let them know that they should be keeping things how our founding fathers of the country has set for us. Getting a little bit of entertainment news, like I told you earlier. Speaking on the cancel culture again, it says singer Kelly Rowland slams cancel culture, and she says, "I'm glad God didn't cancel me." So this is a article here from the Christian Post by Mrs. Jenny Law. The cancel culture is something you're hearing about a lot. People making a comment and people shutting their businesses down, shutting their acting careers down. But you should have freedom of speech in this country. Reading on this article here, it says Grammy Award singer Kelly Rowland slammed cancel culture, saying it's created a God complex in those promoting it. The former Destiny's Child singer took to Instagram and said Thursday to thank God for his grace and forgiveness. And that's something that we should always do, thank God for his grace and forgiveness. I spoke at an event yesterday, and that's one thing that I was saying, that I thank the good Lord that we serve, because the Bible says it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living God. And I thank God, in my speech I was saying, I thank God that I'm not falling into his hands, but I'm standing in his grace and I'm standing in his mercy. So thank God that you're able to stand in his grace and his mercy in these times. And she said, in this cancel culture we live in, I am so grateful God never canceled me. And I am sure he could have many a times. So she knows her life living how she was, it seems here. And it says, the Dirty Laundry singer encouraged everyone to stop passing judgment. Let us try to remember not to judge others, she continued. We honestly don't have the space nor authority to. Let us remember to lead with love and kindness. The world has enough negativity for you to pour more into it. And I'm kind of in betwixt on that comment, because the scriptures tell us a spiritual man judgeth all things. So I understand where she's coming from, but we must always know how to balance those scriptures correctly. It says, and she had a hashtag, stop trying to be God. She's telling people to stop trying to be God, because there's only one judge, which is God, ultimately. It says that Rowland's testimony was recently featured on Hillsong's new channel and TV show Now with Natalie, a 6-part series with wardrobe stylist Natalie Emmanuel Lee, who sits down with Christian celebrities to talk about their faith, what they wrestle with, and their purpose in life. She said, while pop culture icons are often immortalized through accolades, awards, and devoted attention of fans, Kelly Rowland says that it's much, much more than that. She talks about her career when she started singing and how she grew up and identified herself. After her time, she had a little bit of darkness in her life. So, she may have hit a dark spot, but it seems like she's got her mind, her head in the right place. As in Hollywood, a lot of celebrities don't have that type of thing. But it's really an interesting look how she's keeping a positive mindset in that type of dark entertainment industry. So she said she's glad that God didn't cancel her, and I'm glad as well, because every day you wake, you have a chance, a new beginning with God. For the scripture says that we're renewed day by day. So with that being said, I would like to take a quick break, and we're going to continue back on the GBC. Thank you for joining us on the GBC. This is a pleasure coming before you tonight, and just feels great every time I'm here to give you these articles. Another shout out to our friends at Preach the Word Worldwide Network, thanking them for broadcasting our program around the world. I want to get back to you with these articles here. A lot of times, to the remodeling folks, they have a lot of these remodeling shows on TV. And one of the biggest shows that they had was Chip and Joanna Gaines Fixer Upper program. They're having a reboot. Their show's coming on the air to those of you that loves the remodeling shows. I know my wife, she just loves Chip and Joanna Gaines' program. And it says home renovation experts Chip and Joanna Gaines are bringing back their beloved TV show Fixer Upper in a reboot for their Magnolia network. The series, featuring the famous Christian couple, will begin airing episodes in 2021 with the launch of the Magnolia network. The network is replacing Discovery's Do-It-Yourself network. So they're taking over Discovery's network, and I think they're capable of doing the job. It says Fixer Upper ended in 2018 after 5 successful seasons on HGTV. It became one of the most watched cable telecasts in 2017 as homeowners across the country took to renovating and decorating their homes in true Gaines fashion. At the time, Chip and Joanna announced they were ending their show to focus on their family, and that I applaud. I remember when they made that decision. I really applaud that because at the end of the day, family is everything. We can work and we can attain sums of income, but at the end of the day, it's all about your family. And they unexpectedly shared their idea of bringing back their show. They said, "We did not expect it or see it coming, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful surprise." And they said that the day they wrapped their initial show, they had to take a break and catch a breath, but they always knew that they wanted to pretty much revamp everything. So as far as making old things new again. It said the couple admitted that they both realized making renovation projects on screen that had become a permanent fixture in their hearts. "We miss sharing the stories of these families and their homes with you, and we're excited to do that again very soon." So shout out and congratulations to Chip and Joanna Gaines on the reboot of their show. Now to all of you wonderful Dallas Cowboy fans, which I am a part of as well. Jerry Jones, who is their owner, he said that the Cowboys will play in front of a crowd, and they will possibly use a pod formula at AT&T Stadium. It says if you're hoping to watch a Dallas Cowboy game in person this coming season, you'll get your chance, albeit a limited one. The Cowboys they had to shave their capacity due to the Governor Abbott's rules here for the pandemic. And Jared Jones said that he wanted to make it clear that the Cowboys won't completely wave off their fans as some teams are doing. And he said they'll do no such thing. He says the Dallas Cowboys plan on playing football. We plan on playing in front of our fans. He told the media at the club's first training camp press conference. He said he thinks it's important, and he thinks it's important individually. And most importantly, he said he thinks it's important for the country. So they're talking about having some type of pod system and a limited number of people in the pods, and their stadium is huge. One of my relatives actually went to the stadium, and he was just in awe of how nice their stadium is. So shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and their fans. I know they have a big fan base, and we'll let them know. Hopefully the Cowboys can make some noise this season. Let's hope. Next on our list here, it says hands as credit cards. Amazon working on a system where customers swipe hand to pay. So Amazon is really huge. Packages come to people's homes all across the world. Sometimes they have drones as well, dropping packages off at your homes. But they're moving to the next phase, it looks, and they want to have your hand used as a credit card. A lot of times people think of the Bible when it says that you can't buy or sell unless, you have a mark on you. So just be wise. Look up on this story here and just I would say I wouldn't rush to do it, to be honest with you. And this is Amazon is working on a system that will link customers' credit card information to a non-contact biometric identification system that will digitally scan a customer's hand. Now, that's something, you're not scanning me for nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not a piece of fruit. I don't think that this is a good idea, and I'm not sure how this will go well with the public. Now, there may be some folks that may do it, but I don't plan on being one of them. So, the signs of the times, folks, the signs of the times. And on our last story tonight, we want to get into some good news here. You know, as I told you a couple episodes ago, there was a programs on Friday nights that I used to love to watch called TGIF, and they had a lot of family-friendly shows. You know, we talked about some shows in the past, and there's one show that I also watched was called Full House, and you know, and they were very wholesome, so to speak. And one person, now some people on the show didn't keep that wholesome look, but there were some who tried to uphold a pretty decent image before mankind. Kirk Cameron, he played on another family-friendly show. His sister, Candace Cameron, Candace Cameron Brewer, her married name, she tries to keep a good Christian image like her brother did to a certain extent. And, you know, there's an article here from the Christian Post by Miss Jeannie Law that it says, during the pandemic, everyone is in need. Candace Cameron Brewer teams with the Salvation Army to help. And here's a copy of the article here that she is doing things with the Salvation Army. Reading on a little bit here on the article, it states, actress Candace Cameron Brewer has teamed up with the Salvation Army for a back-to-school give back to help meet the needs of families struggling financially during the state lockdowns in response to the novel coronavirus. And, you know, this is school time, folks, coming up. So, you know, let's most definitely look out for the students. A lot of students are doing schooling virtually, and a lot of students are maybe having times where they go to school on certain days. So whichever is done, let's make sure that we support the students 110%. And you know, she plays in a lot of Hallmark movies, and she's helping the Salvation Army with the Back to School drive. And she says they help over 23 million Americans every single year. But during back to school time, it's often a huge financial burden for a lot of families, to the point of some families have to choose whether they're going to put food on the table or buy their children's school supplies, she stated. And, you know, she says it's just a huge relief that they can help families the way that she is doing and the Salvation Army is doing. It says that a Salvation Army spokesperson recently told the Christian Post that people living in poverty are feeling the effects of COVID-19 quicker and more significantly than others impacted by the virus. Because of those impacts, the Salvation Army rapidly evolving service to ensure low-income individuals that they're taken care of with food and shelter as well. And it says the humanitarian ministry has provided more than 65 million meals to people nationwide affected by the job loss and financial hardship during the COVID-19 virus. So I just want to say shout out to Candace Cameron Brewer, shout out to the Salvation Army, and shout out to you too as Americans. So we're resilient, and during this coronavirus, I want to bless you and thank you all. This is the Honorable WMII signing out.
Thank you for listening to the worldwide transmission of the GBC with the Honorable WMII.